Hello, my dear students, and welcome to a new asynchronous session. And in this recording, we will deal with two different tape scripts, and one of them is about bees, and the other one is about the Eden project. And this recording consists of follow-up sections, and I will give you some seconds at the intervals, and you can pause the recording at these intervals and, and you can act according to the instructions. And now I will let you listen and recording the audio about bees, but before that, and please take a look at the tasks and what you are supposed to do in this section is to number the topics in the order and they are mentioned. You see, and the way the bees carry nectar and the communication between bees and structure of the hive. And hive means a kind of container in which bees make honey and how many kinds of bees there are and how bees make money. And you have 10 statements, and while listening please decide which one is true or false and take a quick look. Bees can only survive in warm places, and the number of the kinds of bees is it 2200 or any other number? Okay, a female worker bee goes to different flowers to collect nectar. Only one bee works or more than one bee. And the worker bee carries nectar in a bag or and something else. And the hive has two different kinds of bees. And is that the correct number? And most bees in a hive are drones or any other kinds. Okay, now please listen to the recording.
Chapter 3, page 22. Listening practice. B. Listening for main ideas. Listen to a lecture about bees. Number the topics in the order they are mentioned.
Good afternoon. In today's class, we're going to be talking about bees. What do you know about bees?
I guess.
Oh, okay, so you think you don't know a lot.
I heard when they sting.
What? Could you repeat that?
All I know is that it hurts when they sting me.
Yes, it does hurt, and that's what most of us think about when we think about bees. But in fact, bees play an important role in nature. Did you know that bees are mentioned in almost every religion and literature of the world? Imagine. You probably think of bees in warm places, but they actually survive in all kinds of places, the Himalayas and even in the Arctic tundra. So they've been around for a very long time and live in most parts of our world. And there isn't just one kind of bee. Does anyone want to guess how many different species have been named? Yes?
Maybe a few hundred.
No, there are more than that. Any other guesses? No? Okay, there are 22,000 kinds of bees that have been named.
Goodness.
Yes, there are a lot of different kinds, aren't there? Let's talk about the kind of bee that makes honey, the honeybee. Who knows how the honeybee makes honey?
It starts with flowers, right? And they go around to different flowers and take the nectar, but I'm not sure about the rest.
Yes, that's right. A female worker bee goes around to all different flowers and gathers nectar. Then she goes back to the hive. We'll talk about the structure of the hive in a minute. And how is the nectar changed to honey? Anyone? No? Okay. The worker bee passes the nectar on to another bee, and the nectar gets passed from one bee to another. Each bee works with it, and gradually more and more moisture goes out of the nectar. And finally, it's stored on the comb. And over time, more nectar is gathered, more honey made and added to the comb. Now, you know that different honeys have different flavors. If you've never thought about it before, you can probably guess why. The bee picking up the nectar visits a lot of flowers, and each different flower adds a different flavor to the final product of honey.
Excuse me, can you explain how the worker bee carries the nectar back to the hive?
Yes, good question. She carries it in a bag on her stomach, not surprisingly, called the honey sac. When this bag is full, she returns to the hive with all the nectar. Now, let's talk about the structure of the hive. There are three kinds of bees in the hive: the female worker bees, as we've talked about, then the male bees, called drones, and then the queen. There could be up to 200,000 worker bees in a hive, but more typically, there are more like 50,000. Then there are only a few hundred drones, and finally, there's only one queen per hive.
How many worker bees did you say?
There can be as many as 200,000, but there's more likely around 50,000. Okay? Next, let's talk about communication among bees. It turns out that bees can communicate to some extent. They can actually let other bees know about the location of food, not just where it is, but how good it is and how much there is. The bees do a kind of dance moving around in the air. It's actually called a waggle dance because of the way they move their bodies. Apparently, the size and pattern of this movement is what gives the other bees the information. An Austrian zoologist named Karl von Frisch did experiments to learn about this.
Can you repeat that zoologist's name, please?
Yes, it's Karl von Frisch.
Thank you.
Okay, let's look at some slides.
Chapter 3, page 22. Listening practice. C. Listening for more detail. Listen to the lecture again. Write T for true.
Okay, and now please check your answers against the tape script here. And here, and we have the tape scripts and the first task that you are supposed to number the topics in the order they're mentioned here. And please take a look the first and the number of species of bees. This should be number one. And going around the different flowers to take the nectar and to make honey. And yes, the structure of an hive, but before that, how the worker bee carries the nectar to the hive and in a bag on her stomach. And the third one, the fourth one, the structure of the hive. And the last one is the communication. Okay, so, and the kinds of bees should be the first one. And how bees make money, the second one. How bees carry nectar and structure of hive and bee communication. Okay, and let's see the other answers here. And you see the bees can actually survive in all kinds of places. But here you see bees can only survive in warm places, and it should be false. And the number of different kinds of bees is provided here 2,200, but the actual number is 22,000, so it should be false. And a female worker bee goes to different flowers to collect the nectar. And here, yes, a female worker bee goes around to all different flowers and gathers nectar. That's true. Here. And only one bee works on the nectar to make it honey. Let's see if it's only one bee. You see, and the worker bee passes the nectar on to the other bee, and each bee works with it. So we can understand not only one bee works on the nectar to make it honey, to change it into honey actually. So it is it should be false. And the kind of flower the nectar comes from affects the flavor, the flower of the honey. Let's see. And here, each different flower adds a different flower to the final product of honey. So we can understand that the kinds of flower impacts or affects the taste, the flower of the final product as honey. It is true. And the worker bee carries nectar in a bag on its stomach. Let's see. Yes, and the worker bee carries it in a bag on her stomach. It's correct. And the hive has two different kinds of bees in it. Let's see how many different kinds here. You see there are three different kinds of bees in the hive. So not two, but it should be three. And most bees in a hive are drones. Let's see the number of bees and in the drones in the hive. And here there could be up to 200,000 in a hive, but more typically it's around the number of worker bees is around 50,000. But you see drones, I mean male bees, the number of them is about a few hundred. So it is false, and most bees are worker bees, not drones. Bees communicate about the location, quantity, and quality of food. Let's see. And yes, and they actually communicate the location of food, and not just the location where it is, but how good it's about quality, and how much there is, it's about quantity. So that's true. Bees communicate by moving their bodies in a certain pattern. And here, and we can understand that is the bees do a kind of dance, and the size and the pattern of this movement is what gives the other bees the information. So they should follow the regular pattern, and it is true. Okay, and we can close this now. And okay, let's start or let's continue with the Eden project. And before making a start with listening the audio, and we have a picture as you see. And here let's talk about it for a while, and then I'll let you listen the recording. And here we see an outdoor space, and we see two structures, and it looks like dome. And you see it's a kind of structure, and that looks the top half of a bowl. And here we see people going around, and maybe we can define this place as a botanic park, or a nursery, or biomes actually, or um, and place, or we can say it's a kind or if we ask what do they have in common, and we can say and they are designated places, and where and certain types of plants are grown for and scientific purposes or for sale, and people go there to obtain information about plants, or they can take some education maybe. Okay, now here the handouts of Eden project, and the tasks here, and you will listen and mark one statement, one of the following three statements, and that is false. Eden project has gardens and educates people about horticulture, and there are four different landscape and garden areas. Is that the actual number? We will check. The plants were not taken from the wild, and other tasks. are here. You see, and you can pause the video at this interval and you can take a close look at the questions. Okay, now I will let you listen.
Chapter 3, page 18. Listening practice. B. Listening for main ideas. You are going to listen to a tour guide talk about the Eden Project. After listening, mark the one statement that is false.
Hello, everyone. I know many of you have come from far away to visit us here in Cornwall, in England. So, welcome to the Eden Project. To begin, let me give you a bit of background on the project. Our aim is to take horticulture, the science of growing fruits, plants, and flowers, and blend it with art, science, and education. We also work to find a balance between growing plants for our needs and conserving land worldwide. Overall, our aim is education, and not just for people already interested in plants and horticulture. We want to make plant-based issues interesting to the ordinary person. We have 100,000 different plants here and 5,000 different species of plant.
Oh,
Really?
Really, that's amazing.
Yes, it is. Oh, I forgot to mention, feel free to ask questions at any time. Okay, you can see that we have some amazing gardens to walk around in. 3 different areas, in fact, including the 2 biomes. The biomes are the clear domes that you see from here. We'll talk about the different areas, and then you can explore on your own. If you move closer to the map, you'll be able to see better. As you can see, we have 3 different areas with different kinds of plants in each area. One is the outdoor landscape, another is the warm temperate biome, and then the third is the humid tropics biome. Each biome has different sections with different types or categories of plants, whether it be plants for food, plants for use in making fiber, clothes and things like that, and so on. There will be signs giving you information on each section. Let's talk about the outdoor landscape first. This has the natural landscapes and plants of temperate regions. This is like our region of Cornwall, like where we are now, and really most of Britain, as well as parts of Russia and parts of North and South America. This landscape will continue to change over time. And of course, the plants here change with the seasons too. Oh, it's quite a long walk down to the end of this section, but there is a train that runs from here at the visitor center. Any questions? Okay, let's go on to the warm temperate biome. You can see it here on the map. Think of the regions of the Mediterranean for this one, as well as parts of South Africa, Australia, and some of California in the United States. Plants in these regions have to live in difficult conditions, very dry, and usually the soil isn't very good.
So, would these plants include things like olive trees and citrus fruits?
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's talk about the second biome. This is the humid tropics biome. Think of tropical regions such as West Africa, Malaysia, and tropical South America. It's actually the largest biome in the world and has over 1,000 plant species in it. And of course, the temperatures are pretty warm in there, so bear that in mind.
Can I ask how or where you got all these different plants?
Yes, that's a good question. First of all, they weren't taken from the wild, and most of them are not rare. Many were grown from seed in our nursery here, and others came from botanic gardens or research centers around the world. Also, we consulted with people from the different regions represented here when we got plants. Okay, that's all. Thanks for coming and enjoy exploring the Eden Project. I'll be around for a few minutes if there are any more questions.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much. That was great.
Chapter 3, page 19. Listening practice. C. List.
Okay, and now let's check your answers about the tape script here. And now the one statement that is false and should be here. There are four different landscapes and gardens area, while here three different areas. In fact, including two biomes. So this should be false. And next task is answering the written questions. According to the tour guide, who will find the Eden project interesting? And let's see, their aim is education and the issues interesting to ordinary person or average person. So here, let's copy, paste, ordinary person, and we'll find the Eden project interesting. And how many different plants does the Eden project have? And you see, and 100,000 different plants. Can copy and paste here. How many different biomes does the Eden project have? You see here, and two biomes. And what are the different areas of the Eden project? The different areas is you have three different areas. One is outdoor landscape, the another was warm temperate biome, and then the third one is the humid tropics biome. Let's copy and paste here. And the next question, in the outdoor landscape area, what three places are plants from in the outdoor landscape area? Here you see the outdoor landscape first. The tour guide started to describe. So it's most of Britain and as well as parts of Russia and parts of North and South America. So let's paste this, Britain, this gap, and Russia and parts of North and South America. And where are the plants in the warm temperate biome from? And here you see warm temperate biome. You can see it on the map, and the Mediterranean, as well as parts of South Africa, Australia, and some of California in the United States. So we can copy and paste here. And last question, what is special about the humid tropics biome here? And you see the humid tropics biome is actually the largest biome in the world. So this makes it special. Okay. That's it. And I hope you have had fun and you have found this recording useful. Okay, thank you.